Well, good evening everyone and welcome back to the TFR eSports YouTube channel. You're joined again by me, Oracle, and I'm joined this evening again by Hyper, and this is season number 24. This is the Belgian Grand Prix in the F1 division of the TFR eSports Racing League. As I say, joined by Hyper this evening. Let's say hello there, Hyper.
Evening.
And yeah, we're about to get underway for round number 8 of the TFR eSports Championship. And we've just come off the back of the F2 race, of which my co-commentator here, Hyper, did in fact win. 2 races on the bounce, Hyper. Just run us through that very quickly.
Yeah, obviously I'm quite proud of that. It's a good achievement to have, especially because last season went decent, but not as great as I could have liked. Obviously, me and as in the lobby now, Harriman as a reserve, were both at Alpine. But obviously, since I've started racing in red, obviously I felt a lot more confident behind the wheel. And I mean, it really varies on the track. Obviously, last week in Austria, it's quite a short lap, so it's more about pace and precision. Whereas this race, it's quite long. It's the longest lap on the grid, on the calendar, sorry. And obviously, it's all about obviously your aero, how you're going to take the corners. It's very important to take the first corner very well, because if you get a bad exit through the first corner, then you've got a good 30 seconds and a bit to think about your mistake. And obviously, it's not really very good to get into the habit of it. So it really depends on your endurance.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a long and testing lap. The most testing track, I would say, on the F1 calendar, just for its sheer longevity. You know, there's so much track to cover here, to climb all the way to the top of hill and then spiral all the way back down it. It is probably the greatest track on the Formula One calendar, just for, you know, its diversity in the amount of different types of corners, different sections on the circuit. Obviously, you've got chicanes, you've got elevation changes, you've got long straights. What's not to love? It's definitely the best track on the calendar. And we're on board with Mint Kestrel now, who's on his out lap and is about to set the first flying lap of the session. Will stay on board with the RB car. His teammate, it's worth noting, Wheeze. Well, if you haven't seen Austria, which was the last round, I recommend you go back and give that a watch, because what a fantastic finish that was to a race. I'm sure you agree with me there, Hyper. It was absolutely grandstand, and Wheeze led pretty much the whole way, fighting off Imad, who is not present, and that is another big bit of news here this evening, is that Imad, the championship leader, is not present, but Wheeze fighting off Imad for most of the race. 3 corners left to go, puncture, flies off the circuit, Imad flies through for the win. I described it about 10 times. It was unbelievable, and I still use that word to describe it today, because what a way to end that race it was. It was fantastic. So on board here with Mint Kestrel, who's going to set, like I say, our first flying lap of the day. Looking pretty tidy so far. Let's just get the track map up and also some lap data up so we can see what's going on. So yeah, so with no Imad this week, Hyper, who's your money on? Obviously, you know, Wheeze led all the way last week, but we've also seen flashes from some of the Turkish boys in the league. Mustafa, Tiemann Bira, Bora Alkan, you know, or could we even see CJ put in a top performance for Ferrari after a very disappointing time out in Austria? What's your thoughts?
Um, it's quite hard to say, because obviously without Imad, it's going to be quite interesting, because obviously he's been completely dominating the season so far. I think I'm going to have to say Weed, because without that puncture last week, he would have won that race. I mean, his performance was very impressive. He's the only one that was actually able to buck horns with Imad so far, so it's going to be quite interesting.
Yep, so like I said, there's Weed is probably your top favourite, but there is a lot of contenders in the F1 division. There is lots of rivalry for spaces. There's, you know, obviously such short amount of timings between all the drivers. Kevin Cow actually sets the first time in session with a 143, and then he gets obliterated with a 141.9 from Mint Kestrel. So he is the fastest man out on the track at the moment. We're just going to hop on board with the next driver to cross the line here, which is going to be Detective Midge, which sets a 142.5. There's a 142.9 there from Phantom.
Motu Silva's on the lap. Oh, he's coming the gravel.
Motu Silva, let's hop on board with him, the Alpine driver. Has got himself on the gravel now. Karem now with a 141.8 goes clear by less than a tenth of a second at the top of the timing chart. It's going to be interesting. Actually, Motu Silva's been a very pacey driver in the F1 division. How do you see him doing, Hyper? Wheeze 141.5.
I mean, it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, I know they'll say that quite a fair bit, but obviously, as we've seen, Moto Silver, they're up into 5th now.
And that was in the gravel
And
as
the only
well.
drivers that's, yeah, as well. And also, he's the only driver so far that's set a lap on mediums. So,
Yeah, obviously this is
obviously, if
sprint
he can.
qualifying, so they have to, but you only have the choice of one soft compound and one medium compound tyre. So he's obviously
Well, that could be a strategy call then to save the softs for the last lap,
potentially, or
possibly.
he could be banking his first lap on the mediums, get a banker lap in there, a good banker lap, as you can see. He's up to 5th place on their medium tyres, but he could be saving them softs for a second run on a fresh set of softs when nobody else is going to be able to set a second run on a fresh set. Obviously, it is a long lap round here, so you know you think there's 3 laps. You outlap your racing lap, your fast lap, and then your in lap. That takes a lot out of your softs. But we have got a bit of drizzle starting here. There was some rain expected here in Spa, and it looks as if Motusol was pulled off to the side of the circuit and stopped his running there. So we'll hop on board with Mustafa here, I think. On a lap, no, he's going slowly. No front, no rear wing open. I think DRS may have been disabled. I'm not entirely sure.
The rain's starting to fall now.
Yeah, it is coming down. Like I say, there was rain due for this race. Let's just hop on to our weather forecast and just double check what the weather is doing today. So the weather for Formula 1 in the sprint and the race is as follows. Sprint qualifying is dry to wet, and we're seeing that rain begin to fall here in the sprint qualifying session, which means that the timing board is probably going to stay as is for the rest of this session. The sprint itself, overcast. Qualifying for the main race, very wet. And then the race is dry to light rain. So we have a very wet weekend here in the in Belgium, and it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. Obviously, last weekend dry running out in Austria meant that all the drivers could go wheel to wheel with each other and be competitive with each other, whereas here in the sprint race across the F1 division this weekend in Spa, we're going to see some real feistiness. This could all chuck it up in the air really with the wet weather. Obviously we had wet weather for our qualifying in Formula 2. It dried out quite nicely, to be fair. Once that dry line had come through, there was some real pace able to be picked up on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, there definitely was. And I mean, me personally, I think that if I'd gone out a little bit later for my final lap, yeah, if I'd gone out for my final lap just a little bit later, I reckon I could have been fighting for pole. Obviously, I got second, but I reckon I could have got a lot faster of a lap, because the lap times do get a lot quicker as the track gets drier. And I noticed, especially because I set my first lap on the Inters right at the beginning of the quali, and it got quite difficult, whereas at the end of the session it did get a hell of a lot easier, and you can find a lot of time.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the way the track dries out here in Belgium is very nice compared to what it was like last week in Austria, where it took such a long time to dry. Lots of drivers, including myself, getting caught out in those crossover conditions. But that looks like it's going to be the end of sprint qualifying here. A couple of well, there's still some people in the session, but the majority of cars are in the pit lane. So I think that's going to be the end of the running for sprint qualifying. Very quick ending to sprint qualifying. It's not a particularly long session anyway, so I guess we'll just wait for these drivers to either retire or to wait for the session to time out. But that is it. This is your order for sprint qualifying. So we've got Weeze on pole position, with Karem Kalabasi closely following. Then Mink Kestrel up in third, Bor Alkan in fourth. So we've got a RB and McLaren checkerboard there in the top four. Then we've got a Haas up in fifth, a Ferrari up in sixth. I think the Animal having a much better weekend than what he had out in Austria last weekend. Team of Bira going on an outlap on some soft compound tyres. It's a very brave decision. We've got Motu Solver down in 7th, Kizzy in 6th, Detective Midge in 9th, Wes in 10th, CJ up in 11th, a good qualifying position for him just on the brink of that top 10. Phantom Fox in 12th, Haribo Man and in 13th, obviously in reserve here in F1. 14th goes to OYs, 15th goes to Kevin Cow, Team Mbira and Emir Arslan round off the grid. But we're just going to hop on board with Team Mbira as well as Mustafa, as both the Hasses have decided to go out on the track on the soft compound tyres, and there's lots of fishtailing going on there from Team Mbira, who I'm not sure whether it's deliberate or whether he's genuinely struggling there, but we're going to hop on board with his teammate, who seems to be a little bit more capable of actually keeping it between the white lines. And here he is as he comes back down the hill, about to approach Pill 1, but I can't see him setting a sub 143 here, Hyper. Can you?
I'm not too sure personally, but I'm quite interested on what's going to happen with CJ, because obviously we got a little bit of information in Maranello last week that if CJ finishes outside of the top 10 this week, he's going to be removed from Ferrari, and he's going to be moved to a different team because obviously of his very miserable debut last week.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty poor show, and I think the Scuderia would expect far better than what they saw last weekend, and CJ unfortunately did not have the greatest race at all. You know, he's definitely got ability, the Ferrari man, but just unable to show it in that first race, and obviously the Tifosi were not particularly happy with what they saw up in the Styrian Mountains. But Belgium, this could be a better circuit for him. There's a lot of potential to show what he's capable of here. So yeah, that's another one the Hasses goes.
The Hasses gone round.
Yeah, I think this could well be. Yeah, CJ's retired from the session. I think this is going to be the end of the running here in the sprint qualifying in Belgium. So we're going to get swiftly into the race. Haas is taking his front way off. Yeah, retired from the session. So yeah, so we are going to get straight. Yeah, he's going to get straight into the sprint race here this evening. It's going to give us a good indication of what the race may be like. So stay with us while we wait for the sprint to begin. We'll just give you a final run through the order for the sprint qualifying. Any moment now would be nice. In fact, I don't even think we're going to get a run down the sprint order here. No, we haven't. We haven't got a run down the sprint order, so we're going to load straight into the sprint qualifying, I believe. We are. So cars are on the grid. We're just waiting for everyone to load in. And it's going to be interesting to see how Weeze, last week's race leader for pretty much 80% of the race, gets on here this evening after what was a very harsh end to his debut in the TFR eSports League. This time out hopefully should be a little bit better for him, especially in a sprint race. Not many laps to complete around this circuit, and yeah, he'll be hoping for a good little run out. So just waiting for the cars to line up and the lights to come on.
Have you got eyes on the chats in the paddock right now?
I have not at the moment. What are you seeing there, Hyper? As we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Belgium, and the lights out, and it's pedal to the metal here as we go round the famous Belgian circuit up in the forest, and the McLaren goes round the outside in the first corner but cannot keep the position, and he gets caught up, but it's the tangle. There's a Haas sideways in the background, but Weeze will go through in the lead, and his teammate Mint Kestrel following closely behind. There's a Haas and there's an Aston Martin in the wall. It's Kevin Cow, who's been scuffed against the wall early on the lap, and there's a few stragglers down there as we come up Eau Rouge. And yeah, it's
been hit as well.
It's a horrible start to the race for some of those on the back of the pack. We'll just keep an eye on the lead. I think Mint Kestrel's dropped all the way down. There's an Alpine sideways as well. Motu Solva will drop all the way down to 11th, 12th position in the end. It's scrappy. It's what we love to see though here in Formula One. As there's a lock up there from CJ, but he's all
Aston Martin down the inside.
Let's just check in on the Aston Martins. Haribo Man is defending his position well up to 10th. Might get some good points for Aston Martin here this evening. Better points perhaps than his teammate Kevin Cowles.
He's going side by side.
Side by side with the Ferrari of CJH. There's a bit of a bump. But
Whoa.
CJH goes off the circuit, rejoins, but keeps his position. So that is a bit of a scruffy way to travel down P1, but he's managed to keep it nice and tidy in the end. Weeze will take control of the lead. 1.1 seconds clear of Bora Alcan in the McLaren, and Mink Kestrel from second all the way down to 16th in the space of less than a lap. Also the other McLaren as well of Karem Kalabasi, DNF in his first race, in his sprint race here, all the way down in 17th as a DNF. He was up in second at one point, and unfortunately has been absolutely wiped out of this race. So Weeze, your favourite, is currently out in the lead and is looking to make up some ground on the championship leader, Imad. Obviously, he is absolutely dominating the championship, but Weeze here with a real chance to put some points on the board and really make a name for himself in this F1 division. CJ up to 9th, past Haribo. Is that past Haribo, man? I think so. Or has he kept his position? I'm not entirely sure, but a good start to the race for CJ, keeping it nice and clean. Round Spa. It's been a Hollywood start to the race here in the F1 division. Is a McLaren having a look on Weeze.
There's a Haas going down the inside of Haribo, man.
Yeah, and it's just checking on Haribo man here as he's taken by Timo Bera, but will take it back off Motu Solver. The Haas is ghosted and will end up being pushed back towards his team again. Haribo man holding his own there, down 11, but has been overtaken by the Alpine of Motu Solver.
I know I've got quite a personal history with Haribo man, and I'm not going to try and like toot his horn a bit, but he is historically quite good at defending, and I mean it's going to be. He's not going to make it easy for the people behind him, I do know that, but obviously we do know the pace of the people behind him, so it is going to be quite tight.
Absolutely. I mean, look, he is an F2 driver, he's in F1 as a reserve. If he can get some decent points from 11th place, he's going to hold on to that, and let's monitor his progress throughout the race, because I think that is going to be definitely one to watch, see if he can hold on to that position to claim some good points. We're going to check back in with our leader.
Oh, Ferrari sideways.
There's a Ferrari sideways. It's CJH. Is it? No. I thought it was. Yeah, CJ was a little. He must have had a little bit of a flick, and he's dropped down to 13th there. He was having such a good start to the race, nice and positive, but is now stuck behind the McLarens and running a new helmet this weekend, but so far not helping him in the way that you would have hoped. I think it's a shame helmets don't earn you points, because I think that one would have earned a few extra had they been counterbacked. I think he's taken back 12th there. He's gone past O'Wise, had a bit of a moment coming through the bus stop chicane. We'll check back in with our leader Weeze, which is going up Eau Rouge and Radion now, and comes out 9/10 clear of Bora Alcan. So the McLaren will get DRS potentially. No DRS flap open on the McLaren, but there is a DRS flap open on the Ferrari behind him, but not quite close enough to have a look. And the McLaren will stay in second place for the moment being. Weeze comfortably still in the lead, but that lead has dropped. It was 1.1 seconds at one point, and now teetering just under a second, around 7 or 8 tenths ahead of the McLaren for Alcan. It may be playing the long game here. Spa is one of them circuits where if you're similar pace to somebody else, you do just swap and change because of the DRS. So really, you want to be making that move on the last lap. Weeze. He might be tempting the track limits gods there. And potentially end up with 3 seconds at some point if he carries on doing that. But nice and tidy through the chicane here, coming into the final couple of corners as we head down the back straight towards the bus stop chicane. Again, Weeze, like I said, comfortably in the lead. The order so far: Weeze in first, Bora Alcan second, Epic Animal third, Kizzy in fourth, Wes in fifth, Region sixth, Phantom seventh, Emir eighth, Motu Solver ninth, Ironman round to the top 10. Down in 10th there. CJ staying in 12th for the moment being, is 1.2 off of the Haas ahead of him though. Could really do with the help of some DRS, but again, Spa is one of them circuits where if you drop outside the DRS, it's incredibly hard to maintain pace. And he's already struggling for battery there, CJ. He's obviously tried a bit too hard to get close to the cars in front again, and unfortunately is struggling down there in 12th to catch back up to the Haas ahead of him. 1.4 seconds off. Or Alcan though, now outside of DRS at the top of the table. So 1.2 seconds behind, and he's got the Ferrari of Epic the Animal closely sniffing behind him, and the American here might just sling it up the inside. He might get them moved on the straight actually. Here he is, overtakes him on the straight and will be able to keep the position coming in to the corner at the top of the Campbell straight there. And we'll move
The
into
Papa
second
McLaren
place.
and Bora Alcan just cut the track a tiny bit there coming out of that chicane.
Yeah, okay. You keep an eye on them track limits hyper. I think that's going to be something to watch come the end of this race. Like I say, if there are too many infringements within 3 seconds, and if it's as tight as it's looking right now, it could pay some real bad damages for those drivers affected by it.
There's a massive train right now going on from in the
is that the one from,
midfield.
from 5th all the way down to about 13th, I think, or 4th to 12th, sorry.
About that, yeah.
It's the 11th, yeah. Yeah, it's a huge train going on here, and they're all nice and tightly packed together, so expect to see some moves in that midfield pack. But Epic Animal looking to get some good points for Ferrari, and is 1.2 seconds behind Wheeze now, and is 8/10 clear of Bora Alcan as well. So the Ferrari looking very pacey here in Belgium. Obviously been laying off the waffles, you know, don't want to be too overweight for the Grand Prix. There goes the American through the bus stop chicane and around the final corner and back up the start finish straight again. 1.3 off the lead, and it's broken, momentarily broke DRS on the McLaren behind there. So he is holding second place as it stands. 9/10 clear, 1 second clear now. Has he broken it? Has he broken DRS here on
It all depends on Eau Rouge.
McLaren? I think the DRS detection point is just before Eau Rouge. And then it come up to the actual trigger point, and it doesn't look as if the McLaren has got the DRS. No, so it's the top 3 have all broken DRS each other. Top 4, top 5 even have all broken. Top 6, sorry, have all broken DRS on each other. So it really is a battle now as the Alpine of Motorsolver goes round the outside of Detective Midge, and will get the move done at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Lovely move there from the Alpine driver, who gets himself up to 6th position, nice and tidy from the Alpine there. Wes currently sitting in 5th. He is going to be the one under threat from Motorsolver's pace behind in that Mercedes. Obviously looking a little bit slow, 2.6 seconds off his teammate Kizzy. And
it's quite a good position for him, to be fair.
For Motorsolver or for Wes?
Oh, for Kizzy right now, I was talking about. He's performed quite well today so far in the sprint.
Yeah, he's got his 4th is a solid position, and obviously he's got his teammate behind him to defend him as well, so could well hold on to this with 3 laps to go. Epic the Animal now within DRS range of the leader, Wheeze. Could we see some last gasp battling here around Spa? Also, Bora Alcan is within DRS range of the Ferrari as well, so could the Ferrari and the McLaren tow each other up towards the RB here? Wheeze, he's had a bit of a moment at the last corner, and the Ferrari will take the lead. Epic the Animal, Wheeze there, has got himself a penalty. Let's take a look at what penalty he's got. Let's have a look here. 10-second time penalty for Wheeze. Now, I wonder what that was for. We missed that. I'll be really interested to see what that was for, because that is quite a dramatic penalty. You only really get that sort of stuff for, you know, not slowing down for the pit line correctly, and well, severely cutting corners. Yeah. So I really wonder what he's done wrong there. But Epic the Animal is your new race leader, and I think could be on for his first win of the season, perhaps. Let me just check my facts, but this could be a big moment for Epic here. I'm not sure whether he's won a sprint. Unfortunately, my data doesn't tell me that.
I don't think he has.
No, I don't think he's won a race yet this season. So I think he's sat on the podium, but never, ever, ever won a race this so far this season. Mick Kestrel is 3 seconds down. He's having a torrid time of it in this sprint race. Was way up the top of the leaderboard at one point, and unfortunately it's now dropped all the way down to 16th position as the last running car of this race. Epic will be looking to fend off Wheeze around his final corner, so Wheeze may get that penalty chalked off depending on what actually happened in the stewards' decision room after this weekend. But we'll stay on board with the McLaren as well, because if he can get past Wheeze on track, then no matter what happens to that RB's penalty, it will he will definitely take second place in this sprint race. Lap number 7 of 8 now around Belgium, and the order stays the same. Out front with Epic the Animal in first, Wheeze in second, and the McLaren of Bora Alcan down in third. But Bora Alcan are going to be chasing down the back of that RB car now to try and pinch second place on the racetrack in case that 10-second penalty does get overturned for some
Really
reason
close
or
between the
another.
top three.
Yeah, very tight indeed as we have just 2 racing laps remaining. Seems to be where the battles are at the moment. We have got Wes there. I'm just going to take on board with Wes. He's just
Oh,
10th
Wee's out of the
behind.
peak.
Yeah, he's past the Haas on the straight, and there could be a Williams through on the Haas as well. He's going to move to the inside. There's a bit of contact between the Haas and the Mercedes. Late move there from the Haas of Mustafa. I think that might be looked at after the race potentially. That was a late move there from the Haas of Mustafa. Wes will keep his position for the moment though. Well, stays in 6th there. So Motu Sol got up to 5th though. He's climbed a few positions, I think. Let's just have a look at the position changes here. He's climbed up, 2 places from the start. I think he dropped a few as well. So yeah, so Bora Alkan just 3/10 off Weeze now, but no movement yet. We'll stay on board with this front 3 going into the final lap, because this is where the battle is going to be at for the maximum points in this race. And the McLaren of Bora Alkan, we're hoping that he can get past Weeze on track, and if the animal, we're hoping that he can stay in front of Weeze as well. He's up 5 places in this sprint race, so what a race it's been for him so far. Also, Emir Arslan there, up 8 places, up into 9th position as well. So it's all happening here as we enter the final lap.
Bora Alkan round.
Bora Alkan, has lost the chance to pinch second place and will be overtaken by a Mercedes and an Alpine. And Motu Solva now is up to 4th. Kizzy is on the podium, but he's going to be under pressure from Motu Solva, who's going to be looking to take that podium place off him in the sprint here. So let's stay on board with these 2, as I don't think Weeze is going to be quite close enough to overtake the animal coming up the Kemmel Straight. So we'll stay on board with Motu Solva as he chases Kizzy up Eau Rouge through Radion and then comes down the Kemmel Straight, just a 10th behind the Mercedes here, and will take him almost straight away. And the Mercedes will have to tuck back in behind the Alpine, and he might have just lost his place on the podium in the sprint race here, as Motu Solva gets in place up. 4 places made up in the sprint, and will take the podium place for it as well. Haribo Man sitting comfortably in 10th. CJ, unfortunately, all the way down in 14th. Obviously, Haribo Man, sorry, I apologize for that. He will not get points in 10th place, as I mentioned earlier. He's only the first 8 scoring points, first 8 places that score points in the sprint, but 15 places that score points in the race. So we're staying on board with Motu Solva here, who seems to have gapped Kizzy, and he looks like he's going to successfully keep hold of 4th. Epic the Animal continuing to stay in the lead. CJ with a 3-second time penalty there. That's rounded off a poor sprint race for him, unfortunately.
Maranello is not going to be happy.
No, they are not going to be happy, but there's still a Grand Prix to redeem himself, so there's time, but his teammate, Epic the Animal, at the opposite end of the spectrum, 4/10 clear of the RB of Weeze, and will go round the bus stop chicane, out of the final corner. It's very tidy through there, and he's going to get the race win here in Belgium in the sprint race. Weeds will follow closely behind. Motu Solva will pinch 2nd in the end. Kizzy will get on the podium because of that 10-second time penalty for Weeze. Bora Alkan 4th, Wes 5th, Mustafa 6th. Weeze will finish 7th, Detective Midge 8th, Emir Arslan 9th, Haribo Man 10th, Phantom Fox 11th, Oweiss 12th, Tim and Bira 13th, CJ 14th, Kevin Cal 15th, and Mint Cash will round off the race down in 16th position. A blockbuster start to the Belgian Grand Prix weekend here in the TFR eSports F1 division. Hyper, your thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, I really didn't expect to see some red on the top step today. Obviously, as we've seen Weeze's pace before, and obviously he's got time to redeem himself in the race, but I'm really surprised with that 10-second time penalty. I've never seen that before.
Worth noting there that Kevin Cal will get the fastest lap point, 144 I believe, so yeah, he does get the fastest lap, and I think he will get a point for that as well, so just get something out of the sprint. But yeah, a very interesting sprint race. I'm going to be interested to see what actually carries over into the main Grand Prix, because Epic the Animal there winning against the odds, but he may well struggle in the Grand Prix depending on where he qualifies. Obviously, we have, I believe, got a very wet qualifying session coming up, so stay tuned for that. CJ saying 70% on the rears in the end for him, and that is I think a summary really of how much he struggled in that race. Wheeze,
There
yeah.
was loads of drivers with a warning as well
There was loads
for
of
track
drivers with a
limits
warning,
mostly.
loads of drivers with 3 seconds. Wheeze, though, unfortunately finishing down in 7th place. We'll get 2 points. We'll get off the mark in the end with the points this weekend, but unfortunately not where he wanted to be after a very good sprint qualifying session. So there seems to be a little bit of dispute in the chat at the moment between Haribo Man and CJ about some bashing going on. I can't say I saw any of that on stream, but yeah, a little bit of debate there in the lobby regarding some driving between each other. But we are going to hop into short qualifying here for the main Grand Prix. As you can see, very wet here in Spa, and it's going to prove to be a very interesting session. Again, it will dry out relatively quickly, but only for intermediate tyre running. But I mean, I don't know about you, Hyper, but the intermediates felt almost like slicks in the qualifying session. It felt very, I don't know what the word to use is, very grippy on the intermediates despite the wet weather conditions.
Well, it really depends what corner you're going through, and obviously, again, what stage of the qualifying you're going through. If it's around the back end of the qualifying session, I mean, right at the start when I took my lap, it felt like going up Eau Rouge and Radion, it felt like he was on ice, and it felt really scatty, so it felt like I had to save the car a few times, but it was nothing major, whereas at the end of the session, it was, like you say, it was like super glue across the track. It was quite impressive of a job that the Pirelli have done with their tyres.
Yeah, so we are going to keep an eye on this session here. We are underway, and there is a car out on track. It's Wheeze. Shokora. It's the quickest man in sprint qualifying. He's going to come out for his first run here in full qualifying. He's going to be hoping for a good qualifying position and hopefully a better race for himself, because unfortunately he's just not able to keep the positions in that sprint race. So we'll stay on board with him. He's going to be the first driver to come on and out lap. We'll get some lap detailing up as well. Right, so yeah, he's on his out lap at the moment. A few other cars joining him, but he's going to be the first man to cross the line and start his flying lap here this evening. So, Hyper, after seeing that sprint, who's your favourite for the main race? Because obviously we said Wheeze going into the sprint, but it wasn't a calamity for him in the end. So who's your favourite? Could Epic score top step on the podium in the main race, or are we going to potentially see somebody like Motu Solver step forward and take the win?
I mean, it really depends on strategy. Wheeze has had a big moment coming through Pilton, but
I was just saying that he was probably going to have a good qualifying here, but straight into the gravel there for Wheeze. Sorry, Hyper, continue, mate.
yeah, that's all right. And I mean, it's going to be quite interesting with because obviously I didn't expect to see Epic the Animal with that much pace. No offense to him, obviously, being a fellow Ferrari driver, but obviously, I mean, Wheeze is really going to have to try now this race to gain some good points for RB, because I mean, he's got the pace, but it really is down to consistency. And obviously, this track is quite long. It's easy to get very tired very quickly. And obviously, and I noticed as well, I mean, looking at the weather for the F1 race, I'm not too clued up on that. Let me just have a quick look. Obviously, with the race with F1, it starts quite dry. It starts dry, and then for the rest of the race, it's quite heavy rain. So, I mean, right at the start, he's going to have to put in some very good laps and prove himself to have the pace and get himself a decent gap so he can box for those wet tyres and really put in a good effort for it.
Exactly that. What these drivers will be waiting for is the dry line to form as Wheeze gets underway on his flying lap here. Interesting to note that Tim Mbira is already out of this session. I'm not sure whether he's got a qualifying ban or what is quite going on there, but he's not in the session at the moment. But Wheeze on his flying lap. Let's see what he sets through sector 1. This will be a 33.5 through sector 1. On his sector 2 time as well. So he comes around the hairpin, all a bit wide through there, back end stepped out, but managed to keep it nice and tight on the exit, which is good. hugs the right-hand side, drops back into left. Bit of grass, but keeps it in the white lines on the outside curb there as comes down Pouon. All looks a bit slow in the wet, I have to say. It's definitely
I
a
found
bit of reluctancy.
I was quite surprised with all the wet runners. Because I found even at the start, I found more pace on the inters. So, I mean, it must be down to preference.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wet tyre is purely there just for clearing the water off the track and making that dry line form is there to clear the standing water. So I think those ones who are on the wet tyres, obviously, you know, may just be setting a few laps on the slower tyre to begin with, and also clearing that dry line so they can go out on the intermediates. Because I think what you'd find is if everyone went out on intermediate tyres, then perhaps the track wouldn't clear quite as quickly. I'm not sure how the game mechanics work, but that's how it at least would work in real life. But Wee's going to come around the final corner of the bus stop chicane here and set a 2 minutes 0.6 seconds as his first time in the very wet conditions of qualifying. And here comes Karem Kalabasi. Do you want to talk us through this one, Hyper?
Kalabasi, what position is he, sorry?
15th.
15th, yeah, I see him. Okay, right, first corner. We come through El Rouge and Rayon. It's going to be quite slippy at the start, but as he looks to be on inters right now, so that could be quite challenging. He keeps it nice and tidy, though, nice and tight on the inside as he comes flying around the next corner. This straight can really vary depending on, well, obviously in the race, if it's dry, you've got DRS, it can be quite messy for you, but obviously he keeps it nice and tight through the chicane here. Left, right, and left, very nice. As he gets the car slowed down for the next and keeps it nice and tight. That sausage curve as well takes a little bit more. Can he keep it tight down the hairpin? Yes, a little bit of a step, but he keeps it decently tidy around the exit. The car steps out a little bit. Obviously, keep it on the line, nice and tidy through there. Careful not to clip the grass. So far, this lap's been kind of it's been quite tidy. Can he keep it though? It's quite scatty around Pouon with obviously the rain. He has a little moment, but he manages to keep it between the white lines. Nice and wide around the outside. Keep it towards the left. Let's swing around the right as he does. Nice and tight, nice and tidy again. Hopefully for the second part he can. Round the outside again. And obviously hug it. Careful of the curbs. But the massive gravel trap outside here, and nice and tight down the inside. That inside curb though, careful not to take too much because you can slide quite badly, especially in the rain. And down the back straight and around the last few corners, if he keeps a nice tight line, he could gain an extra few temps possibly. And the line is starting to dry out a lot more now. He comes up to the bus stop chicane. Can he get the car slowed without locking up? He gets a little bit of a lock, but he can do it quite easily. Very nice around the bus stop. Keep it a little bit more tighter, but looks pretty good to me. And comes around the final corner for a lap at Belgium.
Yeah, so he is going to get third place, a provisional third place here in Belgium. Mustafa and Mint Kestrel, it's worth noting, they're both setting times in the 159, so the quickest cars out on track at the moment. So the McLaren not quite able to break into those 159s, but like I say, only a couple of drivers in there. So that's probably why that is. Let's hop on board with Epic the Animal, who's not set a lap time yet and has come straight out on the intermediate tyre as that dry line is forming with 10 minutes to go in the session. So let's see what he can do coming onto his flying lap. It's proving to be interesting so far because, like I say, Weeze, I know obviously his lap was set on the wet tyre, but wasn't unable to break the sub 2 minute mark and was the fastest man in sprint qualifying earlier on. So it's going to be an interesting watch here. We'll stay on board with Epic the Animal for the moment. Haraban Man also yet to set a time. Motu Solver yet to set a time. Phantom yet to set a time. Wes yet to set a time. And Kevin Cal yet to set a time. The team Mbira, for some reason, is a non-runner here in Spa. I think he may well have a qualifying ban, but I'll check that later on. Motu Solver, though, goes on provisional pole.
Wow.
With pretty much a 159 dead, a whole 4/10 clear of Mint Kestrel. So that's a great time for the Alpine driver and has put himself within a really good shot of lining up on the front row here for the main Grand Prix as Epidemic rounds the final corner in the Ferrari and will get his lap underway.
That was he's blown his time out of the water there. I'm quite shocked. That was a pretty decent lap.
Yeah, can Epic the Animal respond here and show some true pace in sprint in the main qualifying session? Obviously, he is coming through Sector 1 now, about to go up Eau Rouge and through Radion at the top of the hill. There's a bit of kick out on the back end there, but managed to keep it on the track and flies up towards the Camel Straight now. He looks quite pacey, to be honest with the Animal, just by eye judgment. He looks to have really good pace. The Alpine driver may have to move out the way here of the
That
Ferrari.
could be a problem.
This could be a problem for Epic as they wind back down the hill, coming towards the hairpin. Wes with the fastest time, 158.8.
Wow.
This track is really drying out. That's set on the wet compounder tyre there, Hyper. So is the wet faster than the intermediate at this point, I wonder? It's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch out for. But Epic the Animal at the moment coming through Sector 2, looking to keep pieces together quite nicely. There's yellow flags. I think that might be for a slow-moving car at the bottom of Pit 1. Then a 158.4 set by Mink Kestrel. So a whole another 4/10 clear at the top. These times are definitely speeding up now. But that Alpine driver is going to have to move out the way of the Ferrari sometime soon, surely. As he's gaining on him, gaining on him, gaining him. Or is that Alpine on a lap, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure which Alpine that is.
I can just check that for you real quick. Is it Mint? Oh no,
it's
Mint's
Phantom.
not even
It's
in there.
Phantom Fox. So
Phantom.
he is currently...
Phantom is invalidated. He was on the lap, but he's invalidated now.
So he must have been going quite slowly because the Ferrari was catching him throughout the lap there, and they're both on fast laps. So Phantom, sitting in 6th at the moment, invalidates that lap. Is running out of time in a session to get another lap sorted, bearing in mind that, you know, it takes 4 minutes to put your out lap in and then to put your racing lap in. As Epic the Animal comes round the final corner here at the bus stop chicane and gets a 158.2 and goes 2/10 clear at the top of the standings again. His first lap out on the circuit, and it's the fastest one of the session. Could he be in contention for another great result here in full qualifying? Let's hop on board.
We can see Phantom's on another lap as well, but we also missed that Bora Alcan also went out for a lap and got on P3. It was P2, but
yeah.
Epic bumped him down.
Yeah, 158.5 for him. So the main strong times are on the 158s at the moment. Epic, the only one able to be in that sort of bottom quarter of the 158s with a 158.202. Could that be the time to beat here in full qualifying? We's still yet to set a second time as well, so that's definitely going to be an interesting battle to watch come the end of this qualifying session. 6 minutes to go, and the Alpine Phantom Fox is on his lap at the moment. I think he was up on his Sector 1 time there, so going quicker. Comes into Sector 2 and heads down towards the hairpin as he winds back down the hill in the Belgian forest here. Looking very tidy through there. Lots of pace being held. Sticking to that dry line. That's where the pace is. Don't take too much curve. It'll be slippy, but heads back down the hill, down through Poo 1 now. He keep it nice and tidy through here. Back end swings out, but keeps it on the dry line again. Very, very nice. This is from Phantom Fox. What's he going to set through Sector 2, I wonder? It's looking pretty good for him in that Alpine. Could he... Oh, Wee's there, 157.4. And that is the first man to break into the 157s. A whole 8/10 clear of second place, Epic the Animal, who's going to have to go on another lap now to try and respond to that. But Phantom Fox here on his lap at the moment. Can he break into the 158s or even the 157s? Is he going fast enough? Can he qualify his teammate Motu Solver, who appear to have more pace in the sprint race here? Coming through Sector 3 now. He's on a currently 150 seconds through the lap. Comes through the final couple of corners. What's it going to be for Phantom Fox? Oh, he's down on his time up. He's 2.5 down on his best time. Oh, second. Yeah,
I mean,
personally,
personally,
so he's in the 158.4. So it is a decent time. It puts him on the second row of the grid there. Let's go on, Hyper.
I mean, personally, if I was Epic right now, if I was to play it quite strategically, it's a dry start to the race. So, I mean, personally, from what I experienced earlier on in the F2 race, first is not the best place to be, obviously, and obviously because when DRS comes out, you're sitting duck on that straight. So after Eau Rouge and Radion, so obviously me personally, I try my best to hold it in second and like hopefully no one else sets a half decent time. But obviously that is quite a
yeah, it's a risky strategy. I think he's going to at least want to secure second place on the grid here, Epic. because, like you said, that's probably the best place to start in Spa because of the tow you get through Eau Rouge, through Radion, and then up the Camel Straight. It allows you to then move into the hairpin, into the chicane at the top of the Camel Straight. So this is the current order. 156 now. Mink Kestrel in the RB. The RB have a provisional front row lockout here in F1, and he goes 7/10 ahead of his teammate Wheeze, who is currently in the pits and is going to have to come out and set another lap again, surely.
Wow. I did not expect this at all. I thought Wheeze was going to lock it out.
It's worth noting here, actually, Hyper, that Phantom Fox is on yet another lap and is 2/10 up on his time, which would knock Epic the Animal, as it stands, off.
That's his in lap.
Well, he's 2/10. He's 2/10 up on his in lap. He's faster on his in lap than he was on his racing lap. Oh, he's invalidated.
I did see him throw it over.
No, that's why. Yeah, he's invalidated. Sorry, that's me not concentrating to what's going on there. We'll hop on board with who are we gonna hop on board with? Who's closest to the start-finish line here on their outlap? CJ, perhaps. I think it is. Let's stay on board with CJ. We've got 2 minutes left of the session. It'd be interesting to see that battle for pole position play out. You know, I would expect Wheeze, Epic, Phantom, even the two Turkish boys, Bora and Emir, to come out and potentially come out again. Bora has come out. He's going to be fighting for pole position here. CJ round the final couple of corners on his out lap and is going to try and keep it in a straight line as he comes up the start finish straight here. I think well, he said he was on an out lap, but was that his? Is he on a flying lap now? It's very hard to tell what's going on because it just said he was 1.8 seconds up on his time. There is, we are being joined by Wheeze, Epic, Bora and Amir here. Phantom, the only one in that top 6 who is staying in the pits for the moment being. All those drivers are...
Phantom's just come out.
Yeah, Phantom's just come out. So all those drivers are going to be jousting for pole position. And also we have got the likes of Wes, Motu Solver, who could also be fighting for pole position as well, who is set just outside of the top 6. It really is on like Donkey Kong here in Belgium, as we'll follow Wes through down the last straight. Is as he approaches the bus stop chicane here, all a bit shaky coming through the little kink in the straight there, through the bus stop chicane. Needs to keep it nice and tidy. Does. Wide line through the final corner though. Or is he starting an outlap? I think he might be starting an outlap there, potentially. He was. So maybe not. Let's hop on board with somebody else. I'm going to stay on board with this battle for pole position. I'm not sure who came out first. I think it was potentially Bora Alkan. It was. So we're going to stay on board with Bora. He's going to be the first man to set a qualifying time in that McLaren. Bit of a wheel spin out of the final corner there, and that's not going to help him in his hunt for pole position. It's going to affect his run down the main straight. But needs to keep it nice and tidy to the first corner, and does. And we'll now go down the hill to go back up and again through Eau Rouge and Radion. Here he comes. One of the most dangerous corners in F1 in the wet, and he keeps it nice and tidy through there. So Bora Alkan currently sitting in 5th position, looking to improve on his time. What's he going to set through Sector 1 here? He's a 10th up on his best time so far. So he is gaining on the cars ahead of him. As it stands, I think he would snatch Phantom Fox away from 5th position as it stands. Phantom Fox has finished his session, didn't give himself enough time to get out the pits and set another lap, so that could affect him in the long run here and knock him down a few positions. Let's keep an eye on Bora Alkan's time through Sector 2. Mink Kestrel goes fastest at 155. Almost 2 seconds clear of his teammate Wheeze. He is flying, and that is his final lap of the session. Will Wheeze be able to respond to that? But we're going to stay on board Bora Alkan because he's the first one running here in the McLaren. He's going to be the first one to finish the flying laps.
I have a funny feeling whoever's came out last here might have the best advantage due to the best conditions.
Yep. I mean, Bora Alkan there is just shaved 1.4 seconds off his time, so that knocks him down to a 157, so not quite pole position standard, as Wes puts himself on the front row. 157 dead there, but Bora Alkan is going to be fighting him for it, as he was 1.4 seconds up through Sector 2. What's he going to gain through Sector 3, I wonder? Needs to keep it nice and tidy for this final corner here. And we're going to hop instantly on board with Wheeze. After he's completed his lap, he puts himself on the front row, 156.5, but still nowhere near Mint Kestrel. Karem goes second row, the two McLarens, second and third at the moment. But Wheeze coming down the final straight here in towards the bus stop chicane. I didn't quite catch how much time he gained there through Sector 2. But he winds through Sector 3, and what's it going to be for Wheeze? Is he going to be able to put himself on pole position? No, but he gets the second. He gets the front row. It's 156.3, 6/10 of his teammate. So Mint is going to hold pole position here, and is going to line up on the front row for the Grand Prix. Wheeze, his teammate, just second to him. Epic in third, Mustafa fourth, Bora fifth, Karem sixth. And I'm not going to be able to read out the rest of the order because the session has ended, but. Yeah, so there's an RB lockout on the front row this time round, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. The two RB drivers flying out in front there. You know, Weed's only just pipping Epic to second place by less than 100th of a second. You know, that's unbelievable.
Well, he has put himself in the ideal position, to be fair. P2 is the best position on the track, I think, for this circuit, especially in the dry. So he is in the ideal position.
Yeah, we are going to have a dry start to the race, but Mint will be hoping for a much better start than what he had in that sprint, obviously going all the way down to last place and just never really able to recover from that.
We did just get a quick sneak peek at the who's got the best wet pace here, though.
Yeah, we have. So, but whether that translates into the race, though, with all the crossover periods and bits and pieces, strategy is important in these wet weather races. But we've got beaming sunshine here at the beginning of the Belgian Grand Prix. So we're about to get underway here in around Spa-de-Francorchamps, ready for this race. The front row lookout goes on, as I think I see Epic the Animal just bobbing up and down in his grid box there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just bobbing up and down. So
he's raring to go.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah. So yeah, front row lockout from those two RBs. Epic in third. It's going to be an interesting start to the race. Will Epic be able to snatch another win, or will one of the RBs take it? Will Wheeze get his maiden win in F1? You know, he was unable to translate that last time round in Austria. Unable to translate that in the sprint earlier here. Will he keep his bottle, and will he take first position in the Grand Prix? We'll wait to see as we await the light on the starting grid. It's going to be a heck of a race, I'm sure, especially with the wet weather coming in about a third of the way through. So let's keep an eye on the lights as we wait for the players to load up. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And the lights are out, and it's pedal to the metal here in Belgium as the RBs get away nicely. Mint Kestrel keeping his lead into turn 1. The Ferrari of Epic the Animal keeping third, but then there's a Mercedes of Wes who's just crashed into him and spun all the way out, all the way back there. Lots of movement going on down the back end of the grid, but it's kept nice and tidy this time round as Wheeze will now take the lead off Mint Kestrel, and there's a car that's gone wide on top of a Rouge. Who was that?
Oh no! That was Haribo Man.
It was Haribo Man. He's all the way down in 16th position here now. But not too far away from the back of that pack, so able to do some.
Wes is all the way back there, 4 steps behind.
Yeah, Wes had a big accident into the first corner, nearly took Epic the Animal out of the race. And now Epic has had to let through Emir Aslan. He's got a Mercedes on the outside as well, Epic. Let's stay on board with the Ferrari as he does hold on to fourth for the time being. But he's going to have to defend through Pilon here as the Mercedes has a little look coming through Pilon. He's got a bit of defending to do, but Wheeze is your leader again. Mint Kestrel, like you said, Wheeze had the better position on the grid. Trying to second place up the hill, all the way up the hill. And he's taking first place from his teammate Mint. Emir in the Red Bull at the moment, looking to get some good points for the team, but it's their junior team at the moment who are leading the Grand Prix. Epic, like I say, down in fourth, has lost a position off the start there. It's definitely an interesting start to the race. Here, let's check up all the changes. Yeah, so Emir up 5 places from the start.
Ooh, the RB of Minkestrel goes wide.
The RB of Minkestrel's gone wide, so he's thrown away yet another position. It's not quite the drastic measures that we saw in the main in the sprint race, but
Weeze has broken DRS.
yeah, Weeze is also pretty clear of Amir here. I think that's more due to Minkestrel dropping away second place more than
CJ having a abysmal start, down in 15.
Yeah, CJ. Well, he's actually up his position. He's actually up his position to start there, Hyper. He qualified 16th and is up to 15th. So
I'm more talking about the expectation from Maranello. They're not going to be too happy. That's 5 places below what they're expecting.
Yeah, quite. I mean, he's going to have to make up sprinters here if he wants to please the Italian. Luis here is currently in the lead, a second ahead of Minkestrel, who's taken back second place from Amir. So obviously giving each other the race and making it work. Let's just see what tyres everyone is using. So most
They went pretty wide.
running cars, Amir and Mitch on medium top round tyres. So we'll have to wait to see how it pans up there. If the rain comes early, that could make difference. Oh! We're going to cut sideways, and it's Amir Arslan who went sideways, coming to the back straight, and has dropped all the way down to 8th position there. The positions he gained, he's dropped back again, and it's all the way back down to 8th. Epic back onto the podium places then for the main Grand Prix, and looking to score some good points for the Scuderia here this afternoon, this evening. Weeze up in first place, still Mint though, setting the fastest lap and closing down his teammates, just 4 tenths behind Weeze now as they wind around the first corner, looking to come up towards Eau Rouge, pinch some getting some good speeds. Going to stay on board with Weeze here after Minkestrel tracks down his teammate up over through Radion and onto the Kemmel straight now. There's blinking already from Weeze, and the RB of Minkestrel will soar past and take the lead of his teammate here at the on lap 3 of 22 here in the Belgium Grand Prix. Epic the animal now with a DRS of Weeze as well. So could Weeze be under threat of losing yet another race win here? He did have the lead off the start of the race. And after the start of the race, and has been unable to keep it, and is now going to be under threat from Epic the animal down in 3rd. So lots of racing still to do here, but we're awaiting that rain. We're waiting for the clouds to fall over. So we should get it, I think, around lap number 7, I believe. Roughly lap number 7, lap number 8, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Currently on lap number 3.
Oh, Epic had a big lock up.
Yeah, Epic with a big lock up, but not losing too much time. Only 5 tenths off of Weeze, now 6 tenths, sorry, off of Weeze as they come round after the final corner. We get DRS on the RB of Weeze, but Weeze also has DRS on his teammate, and we're looking to chase him down and get him up the Kemmel Straight here. We could see some fighting up the Kemmel Straight, potentially on the again to track down his teammate. Now, blinking, and going to make it through nice and easily as Epic all the way back up on Minkestrel now as well, just 2 tenths behind the RB. So the RBs maybe playing the game, helping each other out a little bit with the DRS, towing each other along, hoping to break away from the Ferrari. But at the moment, the Ferrari is within the DRS and staying right in the hunt for some higher positions in this race. Kizzy is 4th there, so good start to the race from him, I believe. Yeah, up 5 places Kizzy, so good start to the Grand Prix for him. CJ unfortunately all the way down. with a measly 17th position. I think if it carries on this way, it might be probably to F2 for next year. Because of
It's really not good enough, is it, to be honest?
No, he's really obviously struggling in F1 to remain in races, remain competitive. So we'll not speculate too much, but we could see that for next season perhaps. But Weeze, your race leader at the moment, closely followed by Mick Kestrel, and then even closer is Epic the Animal behind Mick Kestrel. So that Ferrari could get a good tow off the RB here, potentially make it up into second place. And Weeze could drop all the way to third if it happens like that up the Camel Straight. There seems to be such a big gap between Epic and Kizzy, and Kizzy's going to be at the front of Laura Alcan here as they go through Oaks and Radion. Weeze 8/10 clear of his teammate now. So is Epic going to put
very close to the back of that RB
under pressure here? Perhaps he's going to get a good amount of slipstream behind the RB. Bump drafting, as I'm sure he would call it.
Doesn't make a move.
And then
Oh, he
throws it
does!
down the inside. There's contact. Oh! No! He's lost it at the top and at the end of the Camel Straight. I don't think he can complain about not being left enough space. There was plenty of room there. He just threw out the inside, hoping for the space to remain there. And unfortunately, now got all the way down to 11th. So Staffer will join the two RBs at the podium, closely followed by Bora Alcan. Both of which have overtaken Kizzy on this lap as well, who just bumps over that horrible bump before he goes over the hill. I think. Weeze in the RB is your race leader at the moment, Mid Kestrel, just a second behind. So these two are going to be fighting each other for the win, the two teammates. But will Weeze be able to finally get his first win in the Formula 1 division? Lap 5 of 22, round about a quarter of the way through the race. Weeze is your race leader at the moment, and after a disappointing weekend last week in Austria, having a blowout on the last lap, giving the raceman time the D, he'll be hoping to get maximum points here this evening. Keep an eye on that DRS gap. Mustafa sets the fastest lap now. But because we're not going to get the DRS of Weeze on lap number 6. Still no sign of any clouds. But yeah, still no sound, still no sign of any clouds here at Belgium. Still here. So Weeze racing the Mick Kestrel just back inside DRS again. Here, so I'm here on my own again. Weeze is racing just 4 tenths off the race lead now. As we come down into the bus stop chicane. May go wheel to wheel here down the Camel Straight. They may just help each other break away again, but I think they've got a big enough gap to third now that they can start to perhaps maybe have a little bit of a battle, but they're not going to make it hard for each other. Weeze is going to let Mick Kestrel pass and back into the lead of the Grand Prix. So Mint able to keep positions here early on. Have a better start to this Grand Prix than we saw last time last time out in the sprint race earlier this evening. So Mint is looking to break away from Weeds now. 7 tenths clear of his teammate as Mint comes back down towards 2-1 here. Mustafa 1.9 behind, 1.8 behind Weeds now. So is he closing the gap on the RB ahead of him? Very close together coming to the bus stop. Weeds had a look on his teammate coming up to the bus stop chicane, but didn't make the move in the end, opted against it. But that's allowed Mustafa to get awfully close now coming up the start finish straight here, and Weeds will get Mink Kestrel going into the first corner here to break through a little bit of DRS and maybe a 4x in front of Kestrel there, but look to fight back again through Rouge and Radion. No, Weeds unable to unable to overtake Weeds again coming down the Keppel straight. Mustafa now just 7 tenths off the RB, still awaiting this wet weather. It seems to be 4 clouds forming in the sky, but still no signs of the rain. Still relatively quite a bit of sunshine. Just check on with some battles further down the grid here. See who's close to each other. Wes pretty close to Haribo Man, who's probably sitting at 14th. Haribo Man, he's second time, he's having a time here. Bears down on his teammate coming up to the bus stop chicane now to gain some time back to the bus stop chicane, and back up to the start of the straight again. We'll get DRS on his teammate. It's 5 tenths off and now 4 tenths. Could be 3 by the end of the straight here. Closes right up to the back of him once more as he's going to look to make a move on the Keppel straight once more. If this rain comes down here, I would have said this becomes very, very hard. Weeze is going to move out of the way of his teammate again as he was going to breeze past, making it very clear that he does not want to fight his teammate and they want to help each other into the lead of this race perhaps. So far pretty tidy from the cars up there, very minimal incidents. That sky is definitely getting darker here, and I think we're moments away from seeing the first droplets of rain in this Grand Prix. CJ, unfortunately, there 7 seconds, 8 seconds pretty much off of 15th, and struggling down to 16th. But Emir Aslan is out of the Grand Prix. DNF is not going to get any points here. They've still got 7 tenths clear of Weeze. Mustafa in third, 8 tenths off the other RB now as well. So he is going to get DRS, and he's been brought right into this fight with the 2 RB cars. On board with Weeze. Quite how close he is. Mustafa perhaps. backing himself here to get in the fight for that top two, and maybe not those RB cars of the Alcon as well, sniffing around those podium places. Could he be looking at a move on Mustafa, and then at Motu Solver as well, also within DRS on Bora Alcan. So there's plenty of cars up for the fight. Mustafa goes a little bit wide there and loses a little bit of time, I think. No, he might have actually gained it, but not been enough penalty for it. As it goes right in front of that RB of Minkeshel, who's now 1.4 seconds off his teammate. So as Minkeshel now decided to hold up his teammate as the rain droplets start falling. Here in Spa, the track is going to start getting slick and greasy. The rubber has already been laid down, and now we're going to see the real test of who's good in the wet, as the slick tyres are still on the cars. Worn hard tyres on a wet, slick surface. Who's to the box first? Who's going to make the right call? It's all to play for here in Spa. But at the moment, there's an RB there of Minkeshel, who's going to dive into the pits early on. So's Weeze as well, I believe. Also in the pits to stay on board with Weeze. Is there enough gap between Weeze and Minkeshel to not be blocked in? I wonder. Well, they're going to double stack, and Minkeshel's going to lose a bit of time. Double stack. Two RBs not helping each other out there. Is it the right call to go to intermediates this early on? The track has only just started getting watered. But your new race leader then is Mustafa, and he's going to fight it out up front there with Bora Alcan as the rain continues to get harder here in Spa. But is it going to be that bad? They lose that much time on this lap, or this intermediate just going to burn out when it's not wet really at all yet. There's no standing water on the track, no puddles forming. In fact, it still looks like we've got a bit of sunlight in areas of the track as well. No raindrops falling here. Have we just seen an element of drizzle on the circuit, but not the complete rain. All to play for here. I really hope those RBs have made the right decision, because intermediates on a sort of semi-dry track will not be doing them any favours at all. It does look like it's falling away for Mustafa. He's struggling a little bit on his hard comp times. I'm just going to stay on board with him to see what it does do on this lap here, where it does come in, keeps nice and tidy, like a nice big kink in the back straight there as he comes round the bus stop chicane. Will he dive into the pits maybe? Yeah, he is going to dive into the pit lane, and Bolton is going to make it really tired. So let's stay on board with him and see if he does get overtaken by those intermediate runners, or the intermediate runners are not quite at all. So Weeze coming round the bus stop chicane now. Mustafa in the box. Weeze is just coming down the straight here. He's overtaken the Haas, but at the inside line, the Haas has made just the right decision there. The Haas maybe not. No, it was the right decision to box with intermediates early, and has gained more time from it. But Mustafa very close to the back of Weeze. Minkeshel has been costed. He's dropped down to 5th place here. Very much right behind Weeze at one point. He's now, well, basically 2.5 seconds. Well, maybe 3 seconds off of Weeze. He's going to go wheel to wheel with the Alpine of Motu Solver. We'll have the racing line. We'll have to be late on the brakes here at the top of the hill. And it's all a bit scruffy and can't take the position off the Alpine. So Minkeshel will be held up by the Alpine here. Weeze 14 seconds off the leader, Bora Alcan. But Bora Alcan still on that hard compounded tyre, and he's going to lose a load of time when he boxes for them. Wet compound, them intermediate compound tyres. Mustafa just 8/10 off of Weeze. He's going to be fighting for it, but no DRS to help him now. So we'll keep on board with these two. This is the fight. 10 laps to go then. And Weeze is your net race leader. Bora Alcan still yet to box for the intermediate compound. Part of my thinking is maybe, is he hoping to just see it out on these hard compound tyres? The rain, well, although it's falling, it's not particularly heavy. No, he is going to box at the end of this lap, and he's going to lose about 10 seconds to the race leaders, right away down the order. Mustafa still chasing down Weeze here. It's going to be a tight run to the finish between these two. Mustafa has shown good pace throughout this race, but Weeze searching for that first F1 victory. Only 2 tenths clear of Mustafa now. As I think he did a little bit of packet loss there, behind by a couple of tenths, and now Mustafa is going to have a good old look at him up the straight now. 2 tenths off of him. Is he going to use that slipstream to get nice and close? Maybe not quite enough battery. Mustafa, yeah, running a bit low on the battery front and not quite able to get close enough. Nice and tight through the chicane at the top of the hill. Winds down now into the hairpin prior to who on? 13 laps of the 22 gone. It looks like it's going to be a race to the end between Weeze and Mustafa here. As Mint is going to try and sneak his way back onto the podium. Oh no! Mustafa has gone wide and has lost all that time that he gained on Weeze, and unable to stay on the back of him. He's now 3.3 seconds off him and has put himself right into the hands of the Alpine and right into the hands of Mick Kestrel, who could well get his second place back at this point. If Mick Kestrel can get past the Alpine relatively quickly, the fight could be on between him and Mustafa for second place and RB 1-2. We're going to see here, we're going to stay on board with Mick Kestrel as we come down the back straight towards the bus stop chicane. If we can get a move done in the bus stop chicane, that will set him up nicely to go after Mustafa in these remaining laps in the Grand Prix. It's all happening here. It's all happening in the F1 division again. Leaving it late. Drama as always. There's Mick Kestrel there, not able to quite make the move on the Alpine, but might get a good run on him up towards the first corner here, right up his backside. He's going to make it lunge. He is going to make a lunge up to the first corner. Oh, just avoids contact, and I think he's actually lost a bit of time there, perhaps. Maybe not. No, he's still quite close to the Alpine. How much battery is he running on? Not much battery left. Quite a good enough run from the Alpine up the Camel Straight. CJ there with a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately, he is having another solid race in this F1 division as the RB of Mick Kestrel is knocked off the circuit by Epic the Animal. There seemed to be a little bit of contact there, and unfortunately, he's knocked Mint back down to 5th position. Just not able to keep it on the circuit there, Mint, and he was closing on the back of Motor Solver, and now that's all gone to waste again. So he's been back down to 5th. Motor Solver's now going to have to defend the Ferrari of Epic the Animal with 8 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Like I say, it's all happening here in the F1 division. Lots to play for still though. 8 laps to go, and it's going to be a shootout to the end between these top 5 drivers, you feel. There's still that last spot on the podium up for grabs as Motor Solver's going to have to try and fend off the Ferrari, and then RB coming into the final few laps of this race. Bit wide there from Motor Solver, 5 tenths clear of the Ferrari of Epic the Animal now, and Epic the Animal closely followed by Mint Kestrel. It is on like Donkey Kong at the moment here in the Belgian Grand Prix. Epic takes a nice wide line to get the better run through the kink, and will get nice and close coming up to the bus stop chicane now. Takes the outside line, will get the inside for the final corner. Nice big squeeze there from the Alpine, and Epic ends up coming worse as he takes the wet line through the corner and unable to get the grip. And Mint Kestrel was drawn ever closer because of that as well. So bit of back end steer there from the Alpine of Motor Solver as he comes out the first corner and down into Eau Rouge. And Radion again. And Mint Kestrel looking ever closer again to Epic the Animal. Will he have a look at the Ferrari, or will the Ferrari have a look on the Alpine? It's getting tight, it's getting close, but the Ferrari of Epic the Animal here, as we look on board with Mint Kestrel. Epic the Animal up the inside of Motor Solver, but unable to make the place work, and then Kestrel's going to fight back Epic the Animal after they came to blows before. The Alpine defending very hard, moving under braking there potentially from the Alpine, and Mick Kestrel just watching on. He's in the best seat in the house at the moment as these three cars fighting down the hill through the forest as they approach P1 now. Mick Kestrel closing up towards the back of Epic the Animal. Epic the Animal dropping a bit of time there. Will Mint be able to take the position? He's just about got alongside the Ferrari, but dropped back behind him again. It's very close between these three. It's a challenge for the podium position now. 7 laps to go, and it's definitely going to be an exciting end to the race. But it's worth noting Motorsolver in all this has now dropped back 4 seconds to the leader, to second place Mustafa, who is gained back up to Weeze again, just 5/10 off the leader. So we'll have to stay on thinking with that. We're going to stay on board for this three-car battle again, as Mint's looking closer to Epic than Epic is to Motorsolver. Will Mint be able to make a move into the final corner? Not quite. Epic though does maybe something to move. No, close right to the back of the Alpine though. Come out the final corner and onto the start finish straight. As the Alpine here will hold third position, and Epic shoots it very wide through the first corner, which allows the door to open up for Mick Kestrel, and it's very close again now as we head towards Eau Rouge and Radion and up the Camel Straight once more. Epic maybe not quite good under pressure at the moment from Mick Kestrel, and you get the feeling if Mint can get past Epic, then he would have the best shot of getting past the Alpine. But Epic closing right up to the back of that Alpine again. It's going to have a look up the inside potentially. Oh, it's tight again, but the Alpine was very late on the brakes and very tidy once more there from the Alpine driver. Epic tucking up very nicely behind. Again, it's going to be a fight to the end. Verstappen still 5/10 off of Weeze with 6 laps to go here. It's going to be a fight to the finish. Through P1 goes the Alpine, closely followed by the Ferrari, and then followed even closer by the RB of Mick Kestrel. He's going to want to fight back to at least get back on the podium. Qualifying pole position. You know, he's dropped 4 places again. It's not been a good race for Mick Kestrel. It's a horrible sprint race where he put the ball down the line pretty much. So, mind you though, Motorsolver eating into Mustafa now. 3.3 off Mustafa. It was 4 seconds just a few laps ago. So Motorsolver picking up a bit of pace on these intermediate tyres as Epic the Animal closes up again. We'll stay on board with the last car of the pack, which is Mick Kestrel, who's going to keep it nice and tidy through the final corner. Gains a good amount of time on Epic. Is there enough time there gained to have a look into this first corner here? Is Epic going to go late on the brakes again? Not quite as late this time. Mint is entirely aligned through the corner, but may just sacrifice his run down to Eau Rouge and Radion perhaps. Let's just see. Like I said, Microsoft drop some more time again though through the first corner. Ooh, there seems to be a bit of time dropped there from Mint. He's dropped back from Epic, but Epic's going to have a good look at the Alpine once more. He's going to be able to send it up the inside. Choose the outside line, moving under braking again from the Alpine, and a little bit of contact made, but nothing too major. As we are head deep into the forest now. Epic closing up on that Alpine again. A little bit of a kick from the back end of the Alpine once more, and there's a fight between first and second now as Mustafa takes the lead around the outside of P1. Weeze was going to try and fight it back. Who's going to take the lead of the race as we come up to this corner here? No, Mustafa's got it, I think. No, Weeze's going to go back around the outside again. They could end up in a tangle here, and they could open the door for first position as these two battle it out for the lead. Weeze has given the lead away again. Unfortunately, had a blowout last time round in Austria, and with 5 laps to go, he's going to have to chase after Mustafa here. But have his tyres gone off earlier than Mustafa's, and will Mustafa be able to take that pass all the way to the finish line now in first position? But here's Mustafa having a look on Weeze. Here's Weeze having a look on Mustafa now. keeps it nice and tidy through the final corner. Mustafa not so much, as he's going to get a good run up to the start-finish straight now. Not quite close enough, but wide again from Mustafa through the first corner. Then gains a good amount of time on exit as well. Here's Weeze to be able to gain that time back as there's movement further down as Kizzy and Bora Alcan go wheel to wheel now as they come up to Eau Rouge. Is somebody who's going to be able to get ahead before Eau Rouge and Radion, or will they go side by side? They will go side by side. There's contact, and they do just about manage to come away without losing too much time on, without spinning out. But that's opened the door for Karem to have a look at Kizzy now, as Kizzy's going to have another look at his teammate Bora Alcan. There's contact between the Mercedes and the McLaren, and the Mercedes of Kizzy will take 6th position, and now the McLarens will be left to fight each other. It's all happening as we enter the final 4 laps, as we head towards the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix. We still trying to chase down Mustafa. Motor Solver clinging on to 3rd at the moment, with Epi the Animal closely following. Minkesh has dropped up back a bit, and maybe he's lost his chance at a podium here in this race. But Epic very close to that Alpine. Is he leaving it till late to make a move? He's got a good amount of battery left. Let's just check on board with Motor Solver, see how much battery he's got left. Good amount of battery as well, so it's pretty even there. Minkesh has he looks the battery, still pretty even. These 3 are all giving it their absolute utmost to end this race with a bang and maybe make some moves late on. Weeze now 9/10 off the leader, and looks like he may have lost the chance to win this race. Although gains a couple tenths back as he obviously dumps a bit of battery down the back straight. Will he get close enough coming up into the bus stop chicane, I wonder though, or have his tyres lost pretty much all the grip? We'll see. Did a little bit quicker through the bus stop chicane there. We'll chase the hassle all the way up the start finish straight again here. 5/10 off Mustafa as they come up towards the first corner. And a wide exit from Weeze there. But 7/10 off the leader now. Can he gain that back through Rouge and Radion? Motor Solver now just 2.4 as well off of Weeze. So could that be a battle that forms towards the end if Motor Solver can keep the pace and Epic the Animal doesn't fight him too much towards the end? But Epic is going to want to get that move done sooner rather than later to claim that place on the podium. Let's see here if he's quite close enough. He's going to take a dive down the inside here. Is he going to be able to make the move done? There's a bit of contact. He knocks the Alpine off track, who keeps the possession. 3-second time penalty is given to Motu Solver, but that might be looked at because he was knocked off the circuit there by Epic the Animal. I'm not sure whether there was quite enough space given between the 2 cars, but let's just see come the end of the race what happens with that. Epic the Animal is now 4/10 off Motu Solver. Mint is 5/10 off of Epic the Animal. So has that opened the door for Mint to have a go at Epic again? Maybe. We'll see. Weeze now 1.2 off the leader, and I think he's going to have to settle for 2nd place here, Weeze, because he seems to be dropping Mustafa at a rate of knots. Mustafa was not in my predictions to be on the top step of the podium today, but on the younger intermediate tyres out of the top 3, he seems to be giving it a real good go here as we wind down and have just pretty much 2 laps to go here in the Belgium Grand Prix. It's going to be an interesting finish to the race as Motu Solver comes into the bus stop chicane with Epic Animal just 3/10 behind. The RB of Minkesh just 4/10 behind Epic as well. So this battle is going to go right down to the end. I don't know where to keep my eyes into these final few laps. Epic's going to have to get this move done at some point or another in this Grand Prix if he wants to get on that podium. Mint there losing more time out of the first corner though, 7/10 off Epic. Just cannot seem to keep up with the pace of that Ferrari at the moment, and Epic gaining a load of time on that Alpine again. And we'll hop on board with Epic here as he looks to make the overtake. He might get it done a bit sooner this time as Kizzy puts up a 3-second time penalty, gets it up the inside this time. Can we see a different angle? There's contact between the 2 again. Motor Solver with another 3 seconds. The Ferrari into the gravel. And Motu Solver is 2 seconds off Weeze as well, so that gap's coming down. Wince Kestrel now ups into 4th. He's taken 4th off the Ferrari, and can he have a go at Motu Solva? I wonder. This race has been flipped on its head between 3rd, 4th and 5th. They battled for the podium. They could not keep it clean between the Alpine of Motu Solva and Epic the Animal. I'm sure they'll look at that in the stewards' room after the race. Minc Kestrel 8/10 off of the Alpine. Can he gain on the Alpine coming through the final few corners for the main back straight now? Alpine bit wide through that sector there as they round the final corner onto the main, round the final corner before the back straight. Motu Solva now just 1.7 seconds off of Weeze, but I've just noticed, well, obviously he's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties, so Minc Kestrel at the moment will be on the podium provisionally with those penalties, unless they're overturned by the stewards. Let's have a look here at penalties. Where are we? Penalties, penalties, penalties. There we are. So Minc Kestrel, like I say, 1/10 now off of the Alpine of Motu Solva, and might get that, well, he'll want to get that position on the track. 16 seconds worth of time penalty for Motu Solva. He must have picked up a 10-second for contact with the Ferrari as well. Let's stay on board with the RB here, as Epic seems to have gained a bit of time back on the RB of Minc Kestrel. Weeze now 4.3 off the lead, so Mustafa looks like he is going to win this race. Motu Solva is going to chase down Weeze as we head towards the final few moments of this race, as Epic takes back 4th and potentially the place on the podium if all goes to plan with those penalties. So provisionally at the moment we have got Epic in 3rd, Minc Kestrel in 4th, and Motu Solva will drop right down the order here with those 16 seconds worth of time penalties. It's been a pretty scruffy race from him, I have to say. He's now just a second off of Weeze though, so is he going to pull those cars behind him right up to the back of Weeze here and potentially knock Weeze from 2nd place and into a battle for a podium place in the end here? So 1.1 seconds the gap now between Motu Solva and Weeze. Epic a second off Motu Solva as he's being fought back out by Minc Kestrel. It's all going on here late on. Minc's going to have to keep it nice and tidy with Epic, because Epic has been caught up in a lot. And there's going to be a bit of anger in the cockpit there of that Scarlet Red Ferrari. But will that follow Mustafa round the final few corners into the bus stop chicane and on to the final lap of the Grand Prix then, with Weeze 5 seconds off of him. Motu Solva now just 9/10 off of Weeze. So there is a 4-way battle as we enter the final lap for 2nd place, and there's a battle between Epic and Kestrel for that final podium position as well. Minc's going to have to get a move done if he wants that podium place, and it's going to probably come, if it has to come, at the end of the Kemmel Straight, which just keeps losing too much time through Eau Rouge and Radion. Not looking too healthy on the battery, and the Animal not looking too healthy either, to be fair. Can he gain enough time down the Kemmel Straight? No. It's not quite close enough. Minc might have to settle for 4th position here. Net 4th with those penalties for Motu Solva. Motu Solva right on the back of Weeze, who really seems to be struggling on the intermediate tyres. Maybe he did burn out these intermediates when he boxed so early. So we'll see. We'll see here what happens towards the end of this race. Motu Solva closing right in on the back of that RB car now. Minc 7 seconds, 7/10 off Epic the Animal. So he doesn't look like he's going to get that position. Let's have a look here. Let's see what Motu Solva can do as we wind round these corners in Sector 2 and about to head down that back straight. That back straight's going to be a big moment, as that Alpine has a lot of battery on board. Weeze with a bit of battery as well to defend himself. So it's all going to come down to this final straight. Will that Alpine get enough slipstream to get a move into the bus stop chicane? Will they make contact? Will it wipe them out altogether? Motu Solva not kept it too clean so far with Epic. So is it going to be clean around the bus stop chicane here? I wonder between these two. We won't find out just yet as they make contact around the final corner. No, the Alpine does get the move done on Weeze, and but Weeze will take back second place because of those penalties. Epic in third, Mick Kestrel fourth. Mustafa, I completely missed his cross over the finish line, but he will take first position and take the top step at the podium. We've got Mick Kestrel fourth, Bora fifth, Karem sixth, Kizzy seventh, Tia Mbira 8th, Phantom Fox 9th, Motu Solver 10th, Wes 11th, Detective Mitch 12th, Kevin Cal 13th, O'Wise in 14th, Haribo Man down in 15th, and CJ unfortunately rounding off the pack down in 16th place there. A really action-packed race towards the end there, especially between those cars that are fighting for podium positions. And Epic, a win in the sprint and a podium in the race. Some good points in the Ferrari car there, outshining his teammate really around Spa. As I just bring you some football news before we end the stream. Leeds have a penalty against Everton. For those of you who are football fans, 83 minutes gone in the game. It's taken, and it's in, and it's scored. I don't even know who that is. It must be a new signing, please. By Nemecha there for Leeds. So there's some final scores, but Mustafa will take the top step of the podium here for Haas. And Epic the Animal third, and Weeze in second. So Weeze, that first win in TFR, still evades him, but nonetheless a very good Grand Prix from himself. So I will bring you the final order of the race then. Mustafa with his first win of the season, I believe, up in first place. Epic in second. Weasel, no, sorry, that's for the weekend. For the results in the race, Mustafa in first, Weeze second, Epic third, Mink Kestrel fourth, Bora fifth, Karem sixth, Kizzy seventh, Tia Mbira 8th, Phantom 9th, Motu Solver 10th after those penalties, Wes 11th, Detective Midge 12th, Kevin Cal 13th, O'Wise 14th, Haribo Man down in 15th in the reserve seats, CJ in 16th, and Amir, who didn't finish the race, down in 17th. That concludes round number 8 of the TFR eSports F1 division. And what a race that was. We will be back next week for Imola, where those Ferrari cars will be hoping to put on a good show for the Tifosi. Thank you very much for joining us again, and we'll see you next week.